81% of people want to write a novel, but only 0.3% ever make it to the end and publish one. That may sound like a scary statistic, but I'm here to show you that writing your book is totally doable when you have a system and follow it. If you're feeling stuck and don't know how to move forward, I'm here to help. In this video, I'll share 5 crucial steps to finally write your first novel. Stick around for step number 5. It contains the secret mindset every prolific author uses. In the past 2 years, I published 3 books, written over 300,000 words, and leveled up my writing skills dramatically. But it's not because I'm special, I just follow the 5 steps I'm about to share, and you certainly can too. I believe in you. Let's do this. Kicking things off, step number 1 is to choose an idea and commit to seeing it through. This might seem simple, but it's your foundation for success. Writing a book is a long process. The average novel is 75,000 words. So assuming you can write 500 words every day, which is 2 pages, that's 5 months of work. During a time stretch that long, you will face both doubts and distractions that threaten to make you stop. So commitment is your secret weapon. Commitment is what'll help your future self a month from now when you're knee-deep into writing and feeling like your story is the stupidest thing ever put on paper. Commitment is what'll keep you on track when that shiny new idea comes to mind that seems way better and more interesting than this piece of crap you're banging your head against right now. So help yourself out right now and choose what book you're going to write and decide you're going to stick to it no matter how cringeworthy things get. You can work on your other shiny new story ideas after you've seen this project to completion. And one more note on this point, if you have a very precious idea, the one you've had in your head for 20 years, maybe don't start with that one. Start your writing journey with a less sacred project. That way you don't spend the next 20 years babying this novel, delaying until it's absolutely perfect, and robbing yourself of the opportunity for practice. Finishing books is the fastest route to getting better at writing. You'll be better prepared to tackle your magnum opus after you've gotten some reps in with a less precious project. Step number 2 is to pick your writing style. Maybe you don't know this, there are 2 main ways authors write novels. You've got the plotters and the pantsers. The plotters are the organizational types. They create outlines and plan their stories in advance. And their stories tend to be more plot-driven, as their name suggests. Popular examples of plotters are J.K. Rowling, John Grisham, and Brandon Sanderson. The advantage of this method is your story is far more likely to stay on the rails. You reduce the chance of having to rewrite huge portions of the book because a plotted story is more likely to stay coherent. The disadvantage is an overly outlined book is more likely to come across as stiff. Characters are more likely to say things out of character in the interest of serving the plot. Plotters can also suffer from procrastination, honing their story or world when perhaps they should just get to work writing the thing. Then you have the second category of writer, the pantser. The pantser writes by the seat of their pants. Generally, pantsers start with a character or the seed of a cool idea and they run with it. A common method is to let the character's decisions drive where the story goes. Popular examples of pantsers are Stephen King, Haruki Murakami, and George R.R. Martin. The advantage of pantsing is pantsers get to enjoy discovering the story in a similar way to the reader. And there's a real freshness to letting a character do what's natural to them. As the author, you just throw great conflicts at a character and see how they'll handle them. It's a fun ride. The disadvantage is pantsers' stories are more likely to wander, till even the author isn't exactly sure how things are going to wrap up. For this reason, pantsers are also more likely to need to rewrite large chunks of the story that just aren't working. Regardless of which you choose, What's important is that you try a method that feels most natural to you. And be aware, at some point you will still have to deal with story structure, regardless of which path you choose. The plotters organize their story the best they can at the beginning, and the pantsers clean up their messes once the first draft is complete. Go ahead and choose a path now, based on your instinct. Let me know in the comments if you think you're a plotter or a pantser. Step 3 is to choose a story structure as your guide. Now, if you're more of the plotter type, you're overjoyed by this tip. And if you're a pantser, you're probably thinking, why would I need a structure when I'm just letting the character decide what happens next? Story structure is important because it's a simplified representation of why good stories work. So when you know a little structure, you can avoid common storytelling mistakes. There are many story structures you could choose, and they're all just fine. But I'm going to suggest one for you based on whether you're in the plotter or the pantser camp. Please feel free to choose a different one if you'd like, but again, what is most important is that you choose one, commit to it, and get this book done. You can always try a different story structure for the next book. So, my recommendations. If you're a plotter, before you start, read Save the Cat Writes a Novel by Jessica Brody. Save the Cat is the model for almost all screenplays. It was created by Blake Snyder. When you become familiar enough with it, you can literally watch movies and see the structure show itself before your eyes, Matrix style. The version of the book I'm recommending is the novel writing adaptation, and it is very influential in the novel writing community. Save the Cat breaks down a story into a 3-act structure, and then further breaks things down into 15 distinct story beats that exist within every great story. They have catchy names like The Inciting Incident, The Debate, and Dark Night of the Soul. These beats hit at predictable page counts in a novel, meaning that at any given time, you always know what should be happening in a character's story arc. And my story structure recommendation, if you're a pantser, read Writing into the Dark by Dean Wesley Smith. This is a very short read, and Writing into the Dark is kind of anti-structure. The basic message in the book is that you don't need to overplan because you already intuitively grasp story structures from all the hundreds of movies you've watched and books you've read. So what is most important is to silence your critical voice and just let your creativity guide the characters and events. He also has methods he shares to put this mindset to action, including his own method for revision. Read your story structure guide before you start writing. This investment of time at the beginning will save you a lot of revision later. And once we get to step 5, you'll really see how efficient this story structure is at getting you all the way to the end, revisions included. If you're finding this helpful, hit that like button and subscribe. It really helps this channel. Step number 4 is to commit to a daily writing goal and to write. Note how many times I'm using the word commitment in this video. Consistency beats intensity every time. In the long run, you'll always get farther writing a little bit every day compared to doing marathons of writing only on the weekend. This is because habit is powerful, and you want it working in your favor. Write every day, and your brain will eventually get the picture, and words will come much more easily to you. Writers use 2 main daily writing goals. One is a word count goal. I mentioned 500 words a day earlier in the video. That's probably a good starting point for a daily goal. The second popular goal is a time-based goal, like an hour of writing a day, for example. I personally use a time-based goal, and I use a Pomodoro timer to guide my writing sessions. And don't despair if writing feels incredibly difficult at first. Like all things, it gets way easier with practice. The more days you accumulate, the more free-flowing your ideas will become. It's a skill, and like all skills, it's really fun when things start flowing naturally. In the comments, let me know your specific writing goal. How many words or how many minutes a day you plan to write daily. and everyone in the comments cheer each other on. This is an amazing endeavor you're about to start. And my final step, step number 5, is perhaps the most important step for publishing your book. After your first draft is done, make a good enough revision and then get on with publishing it, whether that's by self-publishing or by querying agents with the goal of traditional publication. Here's the secret every prolific author knows. Done is better than perfect. Of course, you don't want to publish a bad book, but nobody has ever made a perfect book. And scores of authors get trapped in the revision stages and never get through them. At some point, if you ever want to publish, you need to let your baby bird fly out of the nest. So to override your uncertainty over whether the manuscript is ready or not, here's a clear system of revision to drastically improve your first draft without spending the rest of your life on it. First off, if you're a pantser, try the revision process put forth in your story structure guide, Writing into the Dark. Or you can try the process I'm about to suggest for plotters if it sounds more up your alley. And for the plotters, here is your revision process. You'll be doing 3 passes through the manuscript. But crucially, before you start any of the revisions, set your manuscript aside for 3 to 6 weeks and don't look at it. Get some emotional distance from the work so you can revise it with fresh eyes. Then, when you're ready, here's pass number 1. Read through your first draft and make a story-level edit. So you're not making sentences read prettier or fixing spelling errors. You're looking more broadly at areas where the story needs to be tweaked. Your guide while you edit will again be Save the Cat, the story structure guide that assisted you while writing your first draft. Now you're going to check your story against the guide's story beats. So, for example, as you're reading through the part of your story that corresponds to the inciting incident beat, you'll judge if your inciting incident is big enough to keep your hero from returning to her normal status quo life. Then you'll rewrite your draft with the changes you've noted. Pass number 2 in revising is to get others to read your manuscript and offer their critiques, and then you rewrite your draft based on those. It's important to note that you don't need 10 different opinions. 3 or fewer is just fine. If you want to pay money, you can hire an editor at this stage. But if you want to do it free, your best bet is to find 1 to 3 readers that fit the target market for your book. Now, you don't need to accept their advice if you don't agree, but they are giving you a valuable window into the reader experience, so try to be open-minded. And finally, pass number 3 in revising is the tidying phase. Here's where, now that all the story level changes have been dealt with, you can fix spelling and grammar and generally make the writing nicer. Don't spend too much time in this phase. Most authors do, and it's often procrastination. Readers will forgive bad writing if the story's good. Just look at how many gazillion copies of 50 Shades of Grey have sold. Look at the top books on Kindle right now. You won't see Hemingway there. After you've completed these 3 passes, my suggestion is publish. If your book still seems horrendous to your writer's eye, even after all this revision, perhaps it's because your writer's eye has improved in the course of practice. So let this baby fly the nest now and keep practicing on the second book. I believe if you just go for the second book will be better than you trying to Frankenstein the first book into a masterpiece. So those are my 5 steps to publishing your first novel. To recap: idea, process, story structure, write the dang thing, and revise it to be good enough. Really take these steps to heart, keep moving forward every day, and you will be among that successful 0.3% who published their book. It's a mathematical fact. You got this. Before you go, if you want to unlock even more creativity for your writing, I've got something special for you. I wrote a free book called The Art Garden that shares the exact mindset I use to generate new ideas and break through creative blocks. It's the same system that helped me write over 300,000 words in just 2 years. The link is right down in the description. Grab your free copy and let's keep building your writing momentum together. Please subscribe if you enjoyed this video, and if you want to dive deeper into writing good story, you can check out this video next. Peace.